Why is it still so difficult to land a spacecraft on the moon? Almost half of all missions to the moon fail, but what is it that makes such missions so difficult? In 2019, India attempted to land a spacecraft on the moon and ended up painting a kilometers-long streak of debris on its barren surface. Now the Indian Space Research Organization has returned in triumph, with the Chandrayaan-3 lander successfully touching down near the south pole of the Earth's rocky neighbor. India's success came just days after the spectacular Russian failure, when the Luna 25 mission tried to land nearby and ceased to exist as a result of collision on the lunar surface. These twin missions remind us that close to 60 years after the first successful soft landing on the moon, spaceflight is still difficult and dangerous. Moon missions in particular are still a coin flip, and we have seen several high-profile failures in recent years. Why were these missions unsuccessful, and why did they fail? Is there a secret to the success of countries and agencies who have achieved a space mission triumph? An exclusive club? The moon is the only celestial location humans have visited so far, and it makes sense to go there first. It's the closest planetary body to us at a distance of around 400,000 kilometers. Yet only 4 countries have achieved successful soft landings which the spacecraft survives on the lunar surface. The USSR was the first. The Luna 9 mission safely touched down the moon almost 60 years ago. In February 1966, the United States followed suit with a few months later, in June 1996, with the Surveyor 1 mission. China was the next country to join the club with Chang 3 mission in 2013. And now India too has arrived with Chandrayaan 3. The missions from Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Israel, Russia, and European Space Agency, Luxembourg, South Korea, and Italy have also had some measure of lunar success with flybys, orbiters, and impacts, whether intentional or not. Crashes are not uncommon. On August 19, 2023, the Russian space agency Roscosmos announced that communication with the Luna 25 spacecraft was interrupted after an impulse command was sent to the spacecraft to lower its orbit around the moon. Attempts to contact the spacecraft on August 20th were unsuccessful, leading Roscosmos to determine Luna 25 had crashed. Despite more than 60 years of spaceflight experience extended from the USSR to modern Russia, this mission failed. We don't know exactly what happened, but the current situation in Russia, where resources are stretched thin and tensions are high due to the ongoing war with Ukraine, may well be a factor. The Luna 25 failure recalled 2 high-profile lunar crashes in 2019. In April that year, the Israeli Bereshit lander crash-landed after a gyroscope failed during the braking procedure, and the ground control crew was unable to reset the component due to a loss of communications. It was later reported a capsule containing microscopic creatures called tardigrades in a dormant cryotobiotic state may have survived the crash. And in September, India sent its own Vikram lander down to the surface of the moon, but it did not survive the landing. NASA later released an image taken by its Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter showing the site of the Vikram lander impact. Debris was scattered over almost 24 locations spanning several kilometers. Space missions are a risky business. Just over 50% of lunar missions succeed. Even small satellite missions to Earth's orbit don't have a perfect track record, with a success rate somewhere between 40 to 70%. We could compare uncrewed with crewed missions. Around 98% of the latter are successful because people are more invested in people. Ground staff working to support a crewed mission will be more focused, management will invest more resources, and delays will be accepted to prioritize the safety of the crew. We could talk about the delays of why so many uncrewed missions fail. We could talk about technological difficulties, lack of experience, and even the political landscapes of individual countries. But perhaps it's better to step back from the details of individual missions and look at averages to see the overall picture more clearly. The big picture, rocket launches and space launches are not very common in the scheme of things. There are around 1.5 billion cars in the world and perhaps 40,000 airplanes. By contrast, there have been fewer than 20,000 space launches in all of history. Plenty of things still go wrong with cars, and problems occur even in the better regulated worlds of planes, from loose rivets to computers overriding pilot inputs. And we have more than a century of experience with these vehicles in every country on the planet. So perhaps it's unrealistic to expect spaceflight, whether it's the launch stage of rockets or even rarer stage of trying to land on an alien world, to have ironed out all its problems. We're still very much in the early pioneering days of space exploration. Monumental challenges remain. If humanity is ever to create a fully fledged spacefaring civilization, we must overcome monumental challenges. To make long duration, long distance space travel possible, there are a huge number of problems to be solved. Some of them seem within the realm of the possible, such as better radiation shielding, self-sustaining ecosystems, autonomous robots, extracting air and water from raw resources, and zero-gravity manufacturing. Others are still speculative hopes, such as faster than light travel, instantaneous communication, and artificial gravity. Progress will be little by little, small step by slightly larger step. Engineers and space enthusiasts will keep putting their brain power, time, and energy into space missions, and they will gradually become more reliable. And maybe one day we'll see a time when going for a ride in your spacecraft is as safe as getting in your car. And this is by Gail Illis, Senior Lecturer of Physics, RMIT University. This was from the conversation published here in Creative Commons on Unexplained Mysteries. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.